Coming up on News 2, graffiti discovered at a newly painted bus stop has frustrated many. Department of Public Works Commissioner also expressed concerns. They say it's time we read the writing on the wall and clean up the community. What was discussed during a WAPA board meeting? We'll have details. Plus,
one day from the deadline to stop automatic budget cuts, Democrats and Republicans refuse to back down. I'm Randall Pinkston on Capitol Hill with details coming up.
hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Graffiti is a problem that has been ongoing for decades, but lately it's been a battle between the vandals and the Department of Public Works. News 2's Erica Bivens met with Public Works Commissioner Darryl Smalls and explains why vandalism is becoming costly.
Throughout the territory, bus shelters like these were constructed 2 years ago by the Department of Public Works using federal funds. Since then, they've needed the occasional touching up.
So just this past weekend on the island of St. Thomas, we began pressure washing and cleaning all of the bus shelters in preparation to start painting.
And this bus shelter adjacent to Adelita Cancrine School was painted just 2 days ago.
We just painted that between Monday and Tuesday, and lo and behold, yesterday morning we woke up to see that the whole bus shelter was, written all over with graffiti.
And the vandalism is getting costly.
The funding for that is through our maintenance accounts and what have you. It's just additional paint resources that we're going to have to utilize. So it's a waste of resources, and in this type of economic time, we really need to be efficient in what we do.
Commissioner Smalls says he has instructed Public Works crews to come back and repaint surfaces like this one you see behind me that have been vandalized.
The guys take pride in their work. I just had a meeting with my folks 2 days ago, and they're talking about the pride coming to work and wanting to make a difference. And you come in and you make that difference, and then you come back the next day and to see that type of destruction. It's unfortunate.
There are laws in the books for defacing government property, but before going that route, Smalls had this to say.
And we're just appealing to the community. Generally, we would think it's the kids. I can't pinpoint exactly who it is responsible for it, but we're just asking the community, we're doing our due diligence to make sure that they're clean, they're maintained, and we're just asking that the folks who are doing this to please stop.
Smalls says they are working with other governmental agencies, including law enforcement, to ensure this doesn't happen again. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
VI Code Title 14, Chapter 87 says anyone caught defacing government property faces up to $200 fine and or imprisonment of up to 1 year. Senator Kenneth Gittens, chairman of the Committee of Homeland Security, Justice, and Public Safety, is sounding off after learning that 2 students were found with pellet guns on campus at the St. Croix Educational Complex. He said in a press release he is astounded at how simple it is for a student to bring a firearm on campus. Not only must we look at the adverse effects had we been dealing with a live firearm, but a situation in which those children could have been seriously hurt had the pellet gun been used or brandished in the presence of a person of authority. He added that we cannot and should not encourage the sale or access to any type of weapon, whether fake or real, by our children. A 22-year-old man was found guilty in Texas of firearms conspiracy. Tyrone Reed was convicted February 19th for being the ringleader of a conspiracy involving more than 30 guns, 6 of which were seized from crime scenes in the Virgin Islands, including 1 homicide. According to a release from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Reed supplied money to people who would claim to be buyers of the weapons, but he would be the one to keep the guns. Reed's grandmother testified that he sent guns to her in the VI, and he called her a liar. WAPA's governing board met Thursday for their regularly scheduled meeting. Board members voted and approved several project and lease extensions. They also heard from Executive Director Hugo Hodge about the status of a recent meeting with federal officials in Washington. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
It will be roughly another year and a half before residents can expect a big drop in energy costs, but every project WAPA is working on now is moving towards that goal.
I think everybody has resolved that we see relief in the next 18 months as far as propane on the solar and the efficiency measures that both plants are taking on right now. If we have a system where we have the 3 fuels on an annual basis or maybe even every 6 months, more likely annually, we can determine, well, what is the, based on the markets, which was opportune fuel, and we can go ahead and secure contracts in that commodity to lower the impact to the ratepayers.
During Director Hodges' executive report, he told board members that WAPA's top executives were among the VI contingent that met with federal officials in Washington about the territory's energy crisis.
We have their ear, and I believe that we have their attention, and we'll learn shortly what they can or can't do for the territory.
WAPA officials say they're moving forward with converting to propane, which is readily available, but they're also continuing efforts to be able to accept alternatives like solar and liquefied natural gas when it becomes available. It will be another 3 to 5 years before natural gas can come online. Director Hodge says it's not available in our area right now, and the permitting process alone takes about 2 years. Hodge said EPA officials joined Monday's discussion by phone and said they would try to help expedite that process.
They're willing to do everything that's possible as far as expediting permitting on getting this cleaner fuel into our mix. This is an environmental benefit to go to natural gas and propane versus the oil.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
The Caribbean Region Chief Executive Officer of Puma Energy, Victor Dominguez, which owns the Texaco branded stations in the Virgin Islands, met with Governor John P. DeYoung on Wednesday at Government House. The meeting between Dominguez, members of his staff, and the territory's chief executive was an opportunity to discuss the company's investment strategy at service stations on St. Thomas, their planned rebranding, and the company's interest in exploring additional opportunities in the Virgin Islands, including the district of St. Croix. Puma Energy also spoke of their interest in partnering and positioning the company to lend support to St. Croix's fuel supply. Well, after scaling back services in October due to the increasing cost of electricity, St. Thomas Dairies is now closing its doors. Government House issued a release Thursday stating 28 employees will be terminated, while some remain for an additional week. Department of Labor will be assisting by sending their rapid response team on Friday to speak with the employees. St. Thomas Dairies has been around since 1963. It remains the only dairy processing plant in the Virgin Islands, producing and distributing milk, ice cream, and juices to schools and the public. Well, assuming the sequester budget cuts kick in on Friday, the VI is analyzing numbers to see just how we would be impacted. In a phone conference Thursday, Director of the Bureau of Economic Research, Wattenberger, explained some of the impacts.
Overall, the funds that are going to be affected really affect programs that impact the needy. The most vulnerable of our society, especially children, these are going to be affected. Not only will it be, as I stated, in 2013, but this will be from 2013 to 2021, from 10 to 12 to 14 million for the territory. So I think that's an enormous hit that this budget can't take, given the fiscal conditions that we have now.
And we will have more in Friday's newscast. Well, billions in automatic spending cuts, like we said, are set to kick in tomorrow. And right now it looks like they will. Lawmakers have all but given up on a compromise and are now preparing for the fallout. Randall Pinkston reports from Capitol Hill.
The Defense Department, the FBI, and dozens of other federal agencies are preparing for harsh automatic spending cuts to kick in tomorrow. Lawmakers are not working on a compromise to avoid them, and Democrats and Republicans are continuing to play the blame game.
750,000 American workers laid off because of sequester implementation. Unless the House GOP stops the mindless across-the-board spending cuts, you too could lose your job.
In a last-ditch effort, both parties are offering up their own Senate bills today that would replace $85 billion in cuts with gentler alternatives. But Democrats want tax hikes on the wealthy. Republicans don't, and neither bill is expected to pass.
They want it to fail, so they can go around the country blaming Republicans for a sequester the president himself proposed.
Lawmakers had a year and a half to reach a budget deal. There's still one day to go. But members of Congress are scheduled to leave Washington tonight for a long weekend. The White House says the cuts will lead to hundreds of thousands of government layoffs.
These severe cuts threaten thousands of middle-class jobs and slash vital services for children, seniors, and our troops and military families.
The president will sit down with Republican leaders tomorrow at the White House, but no one expects the meeting to stop the cuts. Randall Pinkston, News 2.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, the looming budget cuts set to take effect tomorrow, also putting pressure on the stock market. There's encouraging news for out-of-work Americans. 22,000 fewer people applied for unemployment benefits last week. Applications for unemployment insurance is now at its lowest level in nearly 5 years. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. The Dow, NASDAQ, S&P all down. The Dow 20, NASDAQ 2, S&P 1. Coming up on News 2, our Black History Moment and a huge recognition held at the University of the Virgin Islands. Plus, it was an emotional and historic day for Pope Benedict XVI and the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. This morning, he gave a final blessing to the cardinals who will elect a new pope. One of them will be his successor. We'll be right back. Well, a quick note to parents. Students will be dismissed early on Friday, March 1st. On St. Croix's Central High and Educational Complex schools, they both will be dismissed at 12:30 p.m. to allow administrators and staff to prepare for upcoming validation teams, visits from the Middle States Association of Colleges and Schools. School buses will arrive on each campus by 12:30 p.m. Both schools will be holding meetings of their steering committees on accreditation to receive status updates, finalize reports, and documents needed for the upcoming accreditation process. The University of the Virgin Islands Albert Sheen campus ended Black History Month with a celebration as students and faculty marched down Palm Drive and held their second annual Black History Month audio challenge as a way to honor those who have made significant contributions to Black history. News2's Janisha John brings us more from the university.
Black History Month ended in celebration today as faculty and staff at the University of the Virgin Islands marched down Palm Drive for the second annual Black History Month March and Audio Challenge.
This is our second annual Black History Month Audio Challenge, and we've actually expanded the program this year to be more than just the Audio Challenge. The program is designed to bring students out to learn about the different contributions that people across the African diaspora have made to history in music, in dance, in science, in education. And so this year our program is encouraging students to come out to have fun, but also to learn about the contributions of people throughout history, throughout the diaspora.
The program featured students and faculty who highlighted moments in Black history through poetry, music, and dance. The student government spoke about their experiences at this year's presidential inauguration, while other students took part in the program's audio challenge to recognize artists who have made contributions to Black history.
The whole concept of celebrating Black history is really to help students to understand that as we move forward as a people, as a community, it's important to know where we've come from. And so we try to tie the linkages between the accomplishments of people that have gone on before to the present day and helping them to understand that they also are paving the way for students to come after them.
While the program was a fun and fully interactive one, students leaving with a sense of pride was the university's overall goal.
I hope that they will leave with a sense of pride in their heritage, because a lot of times they don't understand how much people of color have contributed to history across the globe. A sense of pride, a sense of knowledge, awakened knowledge about both the Caribbean contributors as well as national contributors. And hopefully leave with a sense of campus pride, knowing that this is an HBCU and the only one in the Caribbean, and that UVI is doing great things.
Janisha John, News 2.
And as we celebrate the end of Black History Month, we recognize a woman who has had a significant impact in the world of journalism, a woman who some arguably consider to be the world's most influential woman. That's none other than Oprah Winfrey. Born Oprah Gail Winfrey in Mississippi on January 29, 1954, Oprah is a talk show host, producer, actress, and philanthropist who is best known for her award-winning talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. Coming from humble beginnings, Oprah is ranked the richest African American of the 20th century and is known as the greatest Black philanthropist, having given about $400 million to educational causes. Oprah now serves as the chairwoman and CEO of her own network called the Oprah Winfrey Network and continues to inspire other young women to pursue their dreams in journalism. Well, planning to march for the cause, some changes you need to be aware of for the VI National March Jubilee. will begin at the Emancipation Garden Friday, March 1st at 5:30 p.m. and will proceed to the Albane Ballpark in Frenchtown. The march will not start from Mandela Circle as previously announced. Coordinators of the march, members of Jubilee Anointed Ministries, encourage you, if there are any questions or concerns, to contact Enid Danette at 774-8328 or 626-6337. Well, it was an emotional and historic day for Pope Benedict XVI and the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. Pope Benedict left the Vatican for the last time as pontiff. Vatican staff lined the courtyard and applauded. He flew to a papal retreat south of Rome to begin his retirement. He spoke in Italian to a crowd of cheering supporters from the balcony of the 17th century palace this morning. He gave a final blessing to the cardinals, who will elect a new pope. One of them will be his successor. Benedict promised his unconditional reverence and obedience to the next pope. Well, the next First Friday is gearing up. The Free Business Expo and fundraiser this time focuses on the All Saints Cathedral School. Those involved stopped by to tell us why you wouldn't want to miss this event from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Stars nightclub in Port of Sale Mall.
Well, we're launching our campaign as for admissions. We're trying to celebrate our 84-year history of educating island youth on the island, something that was started by the church, by the Anglican Church, 84 years ago.
First Friday, I'll be being the main photographer. I'll be taking all the pictures of all the businesses, the group shots, and you know, just the environment which is a wonderful atmosphere. You know, people networking, and I'll be capturing the moment.
The new angle this month. This is the first time 1855 VI service and our First Friday event has helped the school. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be great. It's going to be so much entertainment going on. And it's at Port of Sale from 5 to 8. We're asking all the businesses to come out. Setup time is 4 o'clock. And remember, it's free.
And stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.